good morning. You may recognise where we've come today for our walk. From the building behind me, which is the iconic Sturminster Newton mill. So that's where we're starting the walk today. I'll tell you more about the walk as we go. But at the moment it's a lovely day, and you will see it's a changing of the seasons, because at the moment my woolly hat has gone into mothballs and my Tilly summer hat has come out of mothballs, because it should be a warm day today, I think, or 15 degrees or something like that. So yeah, should be a good day. So I've come to Sturminster Newton, gonna do a 10 or 11 mile circuit around Stour area. Tell you more in a minute, but yeah, promises to be a really good day again. Lots to see, lots of views, wonderful countryside, beautiful river. So yeah, what's not to like? So I hope you're going to join me. We'll get walking and I'll tell you more as we go. So yes, we're starting at Sturminster Newton Mill, one of the most iconic in Dorset, and certainly I would say the most photographed mill in Dorset, in a beautiful spot. Very, I think it's a pleasing building and a lovely area. So the building we see now actually dates from the 17th century, although there's thought to have been a mill on this site since Saxon times. So it's a very long outstanding milling spot. And today's walk actually is going to take in 3 mills, or is it in fact 4, because Sturminster Newton mill was originally 2 mills. So the flour mill is the left part. The bit that sticks out, the northern part that juts out into the water, was actually originally a separate fulling mill. That was demolished in the 18th century, and this current building, an extension to the original Sturminster Newton mill, was added on, and so it's an L-shaped building now. So it's actually powered now by a 1904 turbine, but previously there were 2 undershot water wheels. So it's got a lot more power now, and this part, as I say, is the newer part, which replaced the original fulling mill. And it actually still produces flour. It's not open today, but when it's open it produces flour, not on a commercial scale, but if you come here when it's open, you can actually buy the flour in the shop attached to the mill. So we're going to head out from here, and we'll be finishing up here later. But we're going to head north and follow the River Stour. So yes, the route today will take in 3 mills. I mean 4 if you consider that Sturminster Newton mill was 2 originally. But it's 3 mills. We are going to follow the River Stour until we reach the next mill, which is Cuts Mill. Then we are going to go cross country, passing through a couple of villages, a couple of hamlets which are interesting, and that will take us to Fiddleford, which is the next mill, and then we will be walking back again along the Stour to reach Sturminster Newton, and we'll walk through Sturminster Newton later on. Sturminster Newton is off to the right at the moment, but we won't go through that this morning. That'll be this afternoon on the way back. So the River Stour is 61 miles long, rises in Stour Head, predictably I suppose, and flows all the way through Dorset down to Christchurch. It's a very peaceful river, although believe it or not, the name actually comes from an Old English word which means violent or fierce. Interesting, isn't it? Because it doesn't look very violent or fierce there. On its way through, of course, it gives its name to numerous towns and villages along that route, and Stour is a derivation of Stour, which is where Sturminster Newton got its name from. Zoom up the boathouse, but it's seen better days. So anyway, back to Sturminster Newton. Its name comes from Stour, as in Stour. Minster relates to the church, so Sturminster is effectively church on the Stour, and then Newton means new farm or new estate. Or I suppose today we'd probably think of it as new town, would we? So that's where Sturminster Newton gets its name from. And it was originally 2 settlements either side of the river, and it sits in the Blackmore Vale. Oh, let's go up onto the bridge. Not actually going this way. Direct erected by J. Conway, 1841. So this is the Stour, of course, and what you do also see over here is two spans of a bridge, another one that side. The bridge itself is gone, but that was originally the Somerset and Dorset railway line that came through this way. There's various bridges across the Stour and have been demolished, and this is one of them, but we'll come across that later and I'll tell you more. Yeah, it's a shame they pulled down the span that went across the river, because that would actually make a really awesome footpath. In fact, there is a move to try and recreate the Somerset and Dorset Railway as a footpath, but I don't know how they're going to reproduce all the bridges that are needed, because they were demolished. Bit of vandalism, sadly, unless they were in such bad disrepair that they had to go. I don't know. But if you come here at midnight on a very dark night, the ghost train still crosses this bridge, so beware. Well, that's what I used to tell my children when they were young anyway. Don't know if they believed me then, but they certainly don't believe me now. That's a nice spot. Got to do a bit of train spotting here. Well, the forecast has been right so far. We've had some lovely bright sunny periods, but at the moment it's clouded over, which I think the forecast said it would do for a while in the middle of the day. But this is a lovely footpath, and the birds, there's so many birds singing around here. Look at this for a phenomenal old tree. That's amazing. It's practically falling to pieces, and yet it's still alive because it's still budding. That's amazing. This must be woodpecker territory. I can hear at least 3 woodpeckers in all directions from where I am. I don't know if that came out on the microphone. The microphone on this camera is maybe not sensitive enough, but I was kind of hoping that it would pick up their drumming. Such a beautiful scene. I love it with the reeds in the distance. It's a shame the sun's left us for a minute. A lovely bit of grain on that piece of wood at the top of this fence. That's really nice. It's quite ornate. Nature's carving. Amazing. Well, the sun's still not reached us. You can see sun on the distant hills. But just look at this. That testament to how still it is today. Like, that's an absolute mirror, isn't it? That's really unbelievable. Hardly any movement in that river at all. There's absolutely not a breath of wind. And the woodpeckers are still going. And Cuts Mill comes into view. It's down the river. Oh, that just dived in the water. Can't see. Too far away. Must be a sign of the changing seasons over there. The cows are all being turned out into the meadows again. So there in the distance over there is the remains of Cuts Mill. So we'll head round there. Actually, I think that's probably a good spot to stop for lunch. It might be a first for me because it's almost an early lunch. Let's see what happens when we get there. And this is Cuts Mill. Place with a checkered history. But it's in a beautiful spot. Almost on cue. It looks like the sun might come out. And nature has provided us with a seat to sit on. With a view. So yes, Cut Mill, spelt C-U-T-T, but it's actually thought to come from cut with one T, as in a cut or a water channel. That's where they think it got its name from. Dates from 18th, 19th century again, but again it's on the site of a much earlier mill. In fact, they think there could potentially have been a mill here for 2,000 years ago even. But it's got a difficult history, as I said, checkered history. It's had fires, it's had bankruptcy, it's had vandalism. Hence why it's derelict now, because the vandalism, I think, set fire to it and it burned down and it's become almost unrestorable, I think. But the other thing about it, I think, is that it's always thought to have been kind of underpowered, really, because it had quite a low head of water. So compared to some of the other mills, it was less powerful and therefore probably less successful, I guess. But it's in a lovely spot, as you can see. And a good spot for some lunch, I think. And the sun's fully come out now. Actually, this is normally a very peaceful little spot, but unfortunately the cottage over there looks like they're having some work done. I can hear the mini JCB going, which is a shame. Mind you, the weir over there almost drowns the sound out anyway. Well, cheers. It's not a bad view for a lunchtime drink. And today I'm in winter in my drink, I'm in summer with my hat, but I've still got bovril. I wasn't sure how warm it was going to be. To be honest, I don't need it, but cheers anyway. Great. Well, that was a spectacular spot for lunch. Absolutely beautiful. But we've got walking to do. That would not be a bad place to live, would it? Lovely little thatched cottage looking out onto the river. Beside Cut Mill, or the remains of Cut Mill. And I just saw something jump out of the water. I wasn't filming at the time, unfortunately, but it was obviously a fish. It's a shame though, shame it's ruins. This would have been the sluice gates at one point. Well, we said goodbye to the River Stour for the time being. We'll pick that up again later. But we're heading away from the river and going cross country now. And this road, incidentally, is an interesting road because it's known as Marriage Lane. So you might kind of think that's something to do with weddings, and maybe the bride and groom walked along here on their way to church or something. But I don't think it's anything to do with that. According to the Survey of English Place Names, I think it actually comes from Mare Ridge, as in mare the horse, and ridge because it's on a ridge. So I don't know whether that's right, but that's what the thought is. So maybe they used to ride horses along here back in Saxon days or something. And the other thing actually I read is that the approach road to Cut Mill is supposed to be, or thought to be, a Saxon holloway, but I can't say I saw much of a holloway the way I came, so I don't know if there's another road. As far as I know, this is the only road that goes to Cut Mill. Anyway, just something I read on one website. Hello. Well, I seem to have gained two friends. Hello. You're very sweet, aren't you? Oh. Mottled sheep. So, anyway, I have reached the first village, I think, on this walk. Quite an idyllic village, known as Hinton St Mary. And it has rather friendly sheep. Maybe they thought I had food. So it's got historic connections going back to Roman times. In fact, a mosaic was found in Hinton St Mary's, which is now in the British Museum, I think. But it was a Roman mosaic. And the old schoolhouse. It's got cottages going back to the 16th century. That's what happens here if you're naughty. It also has a pub, and it has a church. Now I know where it got part of its name from, but not all of it. It is on a hilltop, so I'm guessing that Hinton probably comes from something like High Town. I don't know. But the St Mary part obviously comes from the church. Except it's not this church. Because this church is St Peter's. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. So we'll have a quick look inside. But it's quite a historic town. I'm sure this would, or village, I'm sure this would be worth exploring if I had more time. I'll have a quick look in the church before we head off out. But St Mary's, yes, doesn't come from this church. It comes from the fact that it once came under the abbey at Shaftesbury, which is St Mary's. So that's where it gets that part of its name. We'll see. I don't know if the church will be open, but we'll have a look. So it also has a manor house, and I'm guessing that's what this is. I think that's probably the manor house, without even looking at the nameplate. Look at that garden. So that is a lovely manor, and this is the church. So it's got a 15th century tower, that much I know. Anyway, let's have a quick look inside if we can. Well, that was just a very quick whistle-stop visit, because I'm conscious that we've still got more walking to do and lots more to see. That would probably, this is a place that would reward exploring a little more. Right, we're leaving the church, continuing on our way. This is an absolutely lovely little village, you know. I can't believe I've not been here. Well, maybe I have been here before, I just don't remember it. I'm sure I would have cycled through here or walked through here before. But some of these buildings are really nice. It's a big barn, looks like a barn on the left. I presume that must be something to do with the manor house, I don't know. And there is apparently an avenue of beech trees as well, which is well known. Not come across that yet, unless it's just down here. We'll see. Look at this place here. Oh, this is the entrance to the manor house. It's lovely. Ah. This obviously is the avenue of trees, beech trees. Well, that's an avenue which I've not been down. It's a shame I'm not going that way. But I must come back here again, I think. So it's when I come to these kind of places, I kind of think I should do shorter walks, because the problem when you do longer walks is that you come across these places but you don't actually get time to explore or look around them very much. So I don't know, maybe I should mix and match a bit, do some shorter walks and spend more time mooching sometimes. I don't know. The manor house is on my left, of course, so we're skirting around that. Wow, how's that for a garden? Amazing. That's beautiful. Well, this is a lovely place to walk as well. I don't suppose it'll come out on the video very well, but it's amazing views down over there, and the light sweeping across the bottom of the valley is absolutely beautiful. I think with the wide angle lens and the camera it probably won't show up very well. But we are dropping down off the hilltop now, the Hinton St hilltop, and dropping down into the valley as we head across to the next village, which is Manston. So this is another of those old roads that have a name. This is Ridgeway Lane. And it stretches all back up to Hinton St Mary. But since Hinton St Mary is got connections with Roman times, it makes you wonder again what this was, this road that's got a name. Could have been a drove trail, or does it go back even further than that? I don't know. Could see if I can find out, I guess, later on. Which poses another interesting question. I walk old trails and lanes all the time, but why do some of them have names and some of them don't? They're just tracks. Interesting. Don't know the answer to it. But yeah, it's a interesting puzzle. It's actually clouded over again, as you can see, but I'm actually not sorry for that, because I was getting really hot in the sun. It's slightly cooler now the sun's gone in, and considering it's what, mid-March, well, late March, middle, I don't know what the date is, 20 something of March, so it's warm for the season, I would say. Well, I hope that sign doesn't mean what it seems to mean.